She's not begging anymore. She's not waiting for breadcrumbs. She's not confusing pain with love. The divine feminine has remembered something powerful. That union doesn't begin when he returns. It begins when she stops abandoning herself. He can feel the shift, not because she said anything, but because her silence now holds a different frequency. It's no longer the silence of longing. It's the silence of knowing. The masculine is being called urgently because the feminine is no longer available for half love, for delay, for absence dressed as protection. She needs one thing now, and it's not flowers or promises or words. It's presence, energetic, emotional, spiritual presence. And if he can't meet her there soon, the universe will move her forward without him. This is the moment where the timeline splits, not as punishment, but as prophecy. Comment now if your soul knows he must awaken soon, or be left behind in the old story. Why the feminine is done waiting for an empty love. There's a moment in every divine feminine's journey where the ache becomes clarity, where the waiting no longer feels like hope, but like slow self-abandonment, where the tears stop meaning I miss you and start meaning I miss me. And she realizes she's done, not because she stopped loving, but because she finally started listening to herself. You can feel it in your body when it happens. A subtle shift. You stop checking your phone so much. You stop rehearsing what you'll say when he returns. You stop questioning your worth because of his delay. It's not numbness. It's not bitterness. It's awakening. You realize that you've been loyal to a potential version of love, a version that never fully arrived. You've held space for someone who couldn't yet hold space for you. You watered a connection with your tears, thinking that maybe this time he'll show up differently. But empty love is not love. It's a performance, a promise with no grounding, a flame without fuel. And now your soul knows you were never meant to wait for love. You were meant to become it. Hearts like yours are temples, not temporary shelters. And if someone can't enter your energy with reverence, they should not enter at all. This isn't about blame. The masculine is still learning, but the feminine, she's remembering. She's remembering that her body is sacred ground, that her energy is a portal, that her softness is not weakness, it's magnetic truth. And no more will she offer her tenderness to someone who hasn't yet remembered his own strength. You've waited, yes, but was it really him you were waiting for? Or were you waiting for the moment where you would stop tolerating being half met? The moment where you'd say, "If you cannot meet me in presence, I will meet myself in full." That moment is now. The feminine is done, waiting for messages that never come, for emotions that never get named, for love that shows up when it's convenient, because love is not convenient. It's courageous. It's a soul decision. And you're no longer holding your breath for someone else to choose you. You're choosing you. That's the shift. That's the liberation. And he will feel it, because the frequency of your field is no longer coded in longing. It's coded in sovereignty, and that changes everything. He may not understand it right away. He may think you've changed, grown cold, pulled away. But you're not colder, you're clearer. Your love didn't disappear. It just stopped leaking into empty spaces. It turned inward, sacred, whole. And now the universe is responding to your wholeness, not your hoping. Because twin flame union is not built on a feminine who waits. It's built on a feminine who rises. And she has. You have. You're not done loving. You're just done waiting for love to prove itself. Now, it must arrive fully, or not at all. Before the divine feminine can receive a love that is true, steady, and sacred, one essential need must be met. And it's not flowers. It's not grand gestures. It's not even words. It's presence. Energetic, emotional, spiritual presence. Because the feminine doesn't just want to be seen. She wants to be felt, not scanned by the eyes, but read by the soul. And until that happens, nothing else truly lands. She doesn't need someone to fix her pain. She needs someone who won't run from it, who doesn't flinch when she's deep in her heart, who doesn't label her emotion as too much or her depth as confusing. She needs a masculine who stays energetically even when he's unsure, one who doesn't disappear every time her emotional body expands, one who learns that the feminine isn't a problem to solve. She's mystery to hold. This is the need, and it's non-negotiable now. Because in the past, she may have tolerated half presence. She may have romanticized the chaos. She may have convinced herself that at least he comes back. But the version of her that exists now, the one who cried herself into clarity, who chose herself again and again in silence, that version knows better. She knows the difference between someone who wants her and someone who's ready for her. And readiness is not about perfection. It's about availability, emotional, energetic, soul deep availability. The masculine must learn that love isn't felt through promises. It's felt through presence. It's the tone in his voice, the way he listens without trying to escape, the way he pauses before reacting, the way he breathes when her vulnerability opens. It's his stillness, not his solutions. And the feminine, she can no longer open her energy in a field that doesn't feel safe. Not because she's cold, but because she's sacred. She is not here to be figured out. She's here to be honored. And the core need she holds, whether she's aware of it or not, is to be received. That means her joy, her sorrow, her silence, her rage, her softness, her fur, all of it must be allowed, not judged, not managed, not analyzed, allowed. The masculine must learn to sit with her storms without trying to fix the weather, because when he can do that, something magical happens. She softens, not because he demanded it, but because his presence made it safe enough. And this is the portal to union, because the feminine doesn't open in fear. She opens in safety. That's the core need. And the mistake so many make is assuming that love means intensity. That union requires fireworks and confusion and endless chases. But that's not union. That's trauma looping. And she's done with that. She's not here for another lesson. She's here for embodiment. And embodiment only comes when the masculine stops running from her and from himself. When he realizes that her depth is not a threat, but an invitation. That the more fully he meets her in presence, the more of her true essence he gets to witness. That it's not about decoding her, it's about feeling her. And for her, it's about remembering she's allowed to ask for this. To say, I will not shrink to keep you comfortable. To say, my sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a frequency. To say, I'd rather wait alone than be touched by a love that isn't fully present. Because the truth is, the feminine was never asking for too much. She was asking the wrong person, but now she knows. And now the core need has a voice. Now the boundary is no longer made of silence. It's made of knowing. And once she names it, everything changes. The masculine will either rise to meet her there, or he will feel the absence of her light as she walks forward. Not in anger, but in alignment, because sacred union is not created through waiting. It's born from readiness, and presence is the doorway. There is a unique kind of heartbreak that the divine feminine knows too well It's not the pain of being forgotten, it's the pain of being almost loved, almost chosen, almost met, almost held. It's the ache of being seen, her light noticed, her beauty felt, her magic undeniable, but not truly held, not fully embraced in her most vulnerable truth. And that almost cuts deeper than silence, because at least silence is honest in its absence, but almost teases her soul with the possibility of union without ever grounding it. She feels it in the way his eyes linger, but his hands stay closed, in the way he listens but doesn't stay, in the way he says, "I feel you," but still runs when the feeling gets too big. And her heart, it starts to fracture, not because she's weak, but because she's wired to open. The divine feminine is built for depth. Her soul doesn't love halfway. She doesn't do performance. She doesn't want attention. She wants presence. And when someone sees her beauty but flinches at her depth, something sacred inside her begins to question, is my fullness too much? She begins to doubt the very medicine she came here to be. That is the pain, not the absence of love, but the love that won't stay. The masculine often doesn't realize what he's doing. He sees her light and wants to be close. But when the light reveals his own shadow, he retreats. And the feminine, being the mirror, absorbs this retreat as rejection, not just of her love, but of her essence. It creates a wound. If you see me, why won't you hold me? If you feel me, why won't you choose me? If you know I'm the one, why are you still running? And that question doesn't just echo in her heart. It echoes through lifetimes. Because this isn't just about him. It's about all the versions of love that promised and never stayed. All the moments she was visible but not valued, touched but not truly tended to. She is exhausted from being the initiator, the one who feels first, holds more, forgives longer. And though she carries that strength with grace, there comes a moment when her soul whispers, "I am done bleeding in the name of potential." Because she doesn't want to be seen anymore, she wants to be kept in honesty, kept in presence, kept in arms that don't tremble when she cries. She wants a love that knows how to stay. The masculine must learn this, that seeing her isn't enough, that witnessing her brilliance means nothing if he collapses in the face of her shadows, that she doesn't need praise, she needs partnership, that love doesn't arrive through admiration, but through devotion. And the feminine, she must remember this truth, that she is not asking for too much. She is just no longer willing to abandon herself to be chosen. She is no longer mistaking visibility for safety. She is no longer confusing words for weight. Because the pain of being seen but not held is the wound she's here to end. And she ends it not by begging to be held, but by holding herself so fully that her energy becomes a temple that only opens for those who know how to walk slowly, who speak the language of presence, who don't just want to touch her, but want to witness her. He may still be learning, he may still be afraid, but her soul has moved beyond that fear, and she will no longer dim her radiance to make someone stay. If he wants to be near her, he must learn to hold her, not with arms, with energy. That's where union begins, not in being seen, but in being held. And now she knows the difference. What the masculine must learn about feminine energy. There is a sacred intelligence woven into the divine feminine that the unawakened masculine has not yet fully understood, and often not even tried to. But this is where everything begins to change, because union cannot happen unless he learns how to move through her energy without fearing it, not controlling it, not silencing it, but honoring it. The feminine is not linear. She is not logic. She is not convenience. She is frequency. She is movement. She is a storm and a sanctuary, a wave and a womb. And the masculine must learn that to truly love her is not to figure her out, but to feel her through. Her energy is not here to confuse him. It is here to initiate him. But initiation is uncomfortable for the one who still equates love with control, because the feminine doesn't move in straight lines. She spirals, she shifts, she flows. One moment she is soft, the next she is fierce. One moment she surrenders, the next she burns. And if he can't sit with the full spectrum of her being, he will never hold the depth of what she is offering. And what she offers is nothing less than transformation. He must understand the feminine does not test to manipulate. She tests to reveal. She reveals whether his love is performative or real, whether he is reacting from ego or responding from soul, whether he is ready to stay, not just physically, but energetically. Because her energy doesn't want perfection. It wants presence. It doesn't want him to be unshakable. It wants him to be honest when he's shaken and still choose to stay. It doesn't want a savior. It wants a witness. And he must learn to witness her without needing to fix her. To understand that when she is in her fire, it is not to destroy, it is to clear. When she weeps, it is not to guilt, it is to release. When she retreats, it is not rejection, it is her recalibration. And if he takes it personally, he has not yet understood the sacred language of her soul. Because the feminine is elemental. She is earth in her stillness, water in her grief, fire in her truth, air in her vision. And the one who wants to love her must know how to breathe with her, not cage her. He must learn that she is not here to be handled. She is here to be felt. She is not broken. She is ancient. She is not chaotic. She is cosmic. She is not needy. She is awakening something in him he forgot was real. And he must choose to rise or to run, because to love the feminine is to choose evolution. It is to allow her energy to show him every place in himself that still resists intimacy, presence, emotion. Every place where he still hides behind logic or withdrawal. And it is to meet those places with courage, not avoidance. The masculine must understand if she cries in front of you, she's not weak. She's letting you see her soul. If she rages near you, she's not unstable. She's trusting you enough to feel fully. If she softens with you, she's not submitting. She's offering you her sacred openness, the rarest gift of all. But if you dismiss her, mock her, rush her, she will retreat, not because she is fragile, but because her energy deserves reverence. The feminine no longer opens where she is not honored. She no longer lowers her tone to be heard. She no longer waits to be chosen. She chooses herself first, and from that place, she allows only the love that meets her where she truly lives, in the soul. This is what the masculine must learn, that loving her is not about conquering her, it's about co-creating with her. That her depth is not an obstacle, it's the portal. That her emotional current is not weakness, it's wisdom. That her intuition is not irrational, it's instruction. And until he learns to meet her energy not as a threat, but as a teacher, he will keep touching her body but missing her heart. He will keep hearing her words but missing her truth. He will keep seeing her but never holding her. And now, she won't stay in places where she isn't held. Are you truly ready for the love you've been asking for? Not the fantasy, not the version you created in moments of loneliness, but the real love, the one that doesn't just feel good, it changes you. The feminine is awakening to a deeper truth now. You don't attract the love you dream of. You attract the love you're ready to hold. And that kind of love, the one your soul remembers, requires a version of you that is no longer negotiating with your past self. So the preparation begins, quietly, invisibly, in the moments no one sees. When you choose peace over chasing, when you stop texting someone who drains you, even though your heart still aches. When you cry without shame, trusting that those tears are washing away a layer you no longer need. Have you felt this sacred shift lately? That sense that you're no longer willing to sacrifice your essence to feel loved? That your soul is asking you to stop dimming your light just to feel seen? This is the beginning of your readiness. To be met fully by someone else, you must first stop abandoning yourself. And that's the hardest part, because you were taught to wait, to hope, to be patient. But spiritual patience isn't passive, it's active. It's the daily decision to show up for yourself even when no one else does. You prepare for a love that meets you fully by becoming someone who no longer accepts half-hearted energy, even from the one you once thought was your forever. Have you noticed how your body reacts when something is no longer aligned? The fatigue, the anxiety, the overthinking, these aren't inconveniences. They are signals. Your body is wise, your soul is honest, and together they are clearing out anything that cannot stand in the vibration of your next chapter. This is how you prepare. You stop making excuses for behavior that hurts you. You stop waiting for someone to return and start returning to yourself. You begin living like love already lives inside you, because it does. The more you anchor into that truth, the less you need validation. And that's when the shift happens. That's when the masculine starts to feel something changing, even if he can't name it. That's when your field becomes magnetic to what is real, not just what is familiar. Have you felt that pull inside you to clean your space, shift your boundaries, reclaim your voice? That's your field preparing. It's your inner self saying, we're done with old stories. It's time for a new narrative, one rooted in self-trust. This isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. You don't have to heal everything to be ready. You just have to stop betraying your truth for the sake of being chosen. Because love that meets you fully won't ask you to shrink. It won't make you wait in emotional limbo. It will recognize your light and rise to meet it, not run from it. But it can only find you when you stop hiding, when you stop apologizing for needing depth, when you stop pretending that your sensitivity is a weakness. What if your preparation is the very reason for the delay? What if your soul said not yet, because it needed you to learn how to choose yourself first. This isn't about closing your heart. It's about clearing it, so that when love comes, it has somewhere sacred to land, and it will come. When your energy no longer screams, "Please see me," but quietly affirms, "I see myself." This is how you prepare. You embody the love you've been waiting for. And when you do, you'll no longer wait. You'll receive. He may not understand what changed. He may not have words for it, but he feels it. In the space where your longing used to live, in the silence that no longer trembles, in the energetic thread that once pulled him in, now pulling inward, back to you. The shift is real because you've changed, not in bitterness, but in becoming. Not in resistance, but in remembrance. The divine feminine has remembered who she is, and that remembrance echoes louder than any message you could send. It ripples through timelines. It awakens him in dreams. It stirs something ancient in his body, something he can't suppress much longer. Have you ever felt like the moment you let go is when they suddenly feel you again? That the very instant you stop checking their energy, they show up in yours? It's not coincidence, it's quantum. Your shift has a frequency. Your embodiment emits a new signal, and his soul, whether conscious or not, hears it. But this time, it's different. This time, you're not reaching out. You're not dimming your light so he can feel safe. You're not softening your truth just to keep the connection. This time, the energy is pure. You are standing in your center, in your knowing, and from that space, your vibration speaks louder than words. He will feel this in subtle, piercing ways, in the music that suddenly reminds him of you, in the spaces that feel emptier without your pull, in the emotional waves he can't quite name, but can't ignore, because the feminine is no longer waiting for him to awaken. She has awakened herself. Can you feel how much lighter your body is when you stop carrying the weight of his growth? How your nervous system exhales when you stop over-explaining your love? How your dreams shift when your energy isn't waiting for a message, but simply living. This is what he feels now, not absence, but evolution. And here's the truth most don't speak. The masculine is deeply impacted by your shift. Even if he doesn't reach out, even if his ego resists, even if he runs, because the soul does not lie, and the soul cannot ignore a field that has returned to its own light. You're not doing this to get him back. You're not rising to teach him a lesson. You're rising because it's time. You've lingered in waiting long enough. You've poured energy into possibility long enough. Now, your cup is for you. And from that overflow, love will come, not as a chase, but as a match. Have you felt the difference? That moment when you realize you don't want the old version of him anymore, that you're not attached to being chosen because you've already chosen yourself. That's when he feels it the most. Not your absence, but your alignment. Because your love used to come with expectation. Now it comes with discernment. And that shift shakes the masculine to his core. It shows him something no words ever could. That the old dynamic is over. That the feminine will not be returning to the waiting room. That the next version of this love must be sacred, or not at all. You no longer need to prove your love. Your energy is enough. Your peace is enough. Your presence, even in distance, is enough. Let him feel it. Let him walk through the silence and meet his own resistance. Let him choose, not from pressure, but from presence. Let the field speak. And if he does rise, if he learns the language of your soul, if he meets you where you've already gone, then you'll meet him not as someone who waited, but as someone who became. Because this shift wasn't to bring him back. It was to bring you home. And that is what changes everything.